to Hildervat live coverage on the OCR report. Very excited for day 2. We've got the finals, Rebecca Hammond versus Lindsay Webster, and Ryan Atkins versus Veejay Jones. I'm Will Hicks, this is Jason Dupree. Jason, we have a big day of racing.
I'm extremely excited. It's been such a wild, crazy day yesterday to see the ups and downs, the highs and lows of it all. Today is going to be the fast and furious, just who's the best.
So first up we have the women's final, then we'll have the men's final, and then after that we're going to have the team relay, the pro team relay. The 12 pro athletes are going to have a draft, like picking sides of the playground. Annie Doobie, the winner of the women's elite race yesterday, is going to replace the injured Nicole Miracle. We're going to talk about more about that as the race goes on.
You ready to head down to the beach?
Let's do it. Awesome. Good job. All right, Jason, good to talk more racing with you today at Hildervat Day 2.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at the course right now. The athletes are down there getting warmed up. I have talked with 3 of the 4 finalists already today. I could not track down Ryan Atkins. He was hiding. But, not actually, but I talked with Lindsay Webster. I talked with Rebecca Hammond, spent some time with Veejay Jones, and they're ready to run. So I also got to spend a minute with Nicole Miracle. I did not record with Nicole Miracle. She hurt her leg yesterday. We're going to talk more about Nicole as the races go on. But she was dominating both races. She won the first race easily yesterday. She was on the way to win the second race easily when she landed awkwardly off of a rig. And this rig, it was the 3rd obstacle from the end. She had to finish this rig, then one more obstacle, then the final rig, and she was done with the race. She would have won the semis. And she came awkwardly off the obstacle. She tried to stand back up. She could not support her weight on her knee, and she had to be held from the course. So yesterday, Nicole went to the hospital. She got an MRI, and she is waiting on the results from that. I don't want to get into medical details. That's not our story to tell, but we are just, our hearts go out to Nicole Miracle and the racing community. People already reached out to us just with concern and with love and thoughts and prayers and all the love in the world for Nicole Miracle. So, Nicole, we are sorry about what happened yesterday with your injury, and get well soon, Nicole.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Just a sad moment for the whole thing. She was doing so extremely well. And, you know, sometimes they say that's racing, but we do hope that she gets healed up quickly and back to it. Because I know she's got the big season this year. Nobody raced last year, really, so this is what everybody's been training for a whole year.
Nicole's injury made room for Lindsay Webster to move past her into the finals. Lindsay last night put a post on Instagram just expressing her thoughts, and she even said, I would not be in the finals if Nicole hadn't got injured. Nicole was clearly in first place. She would have easily won the second race yesterday to secure her spot in the finals today before just a fluke. She came off the obstacle. She just landed awkwardly on the sand, and that's really all there is to it. So the women's final today will be Rebecca Hammond versus Lindsay Webster for $5,000 first prize, and the title of
Yeah, so we're seeing a few highlights from yesterday now. some of the moments that really saw some impressive stuff this weekend so far.
On the men's side, it'll be Ryan Atkins versus Veejay Jones. Ryan is one of the most highly decorated athletes in the sport, if not the. His specialty is in the ultra-long endurance racing. He's never lost a race longer than 8 hours. But he's also extremely adept at the short course, as he showed yesterday. And when we say short, 5K is on the shorter end for obstacle course races. But Veejay Jones is no slouch either. He showed he's fast. It'll be a great race between Veejay Jones and Ryan Atkins. So talking about some of the results from yesterday. In the first race yesterday between Veejay and Ryan, Veejay won the race. They raced, just to remind everybody, all the athletes yesterday, they raced twice. There was the first race was 6 men or 6 women, and then the top 4 advanced. And then looking at the results there, after the top 4 race in the semifinals, and that's when Veejay and Ryan advanced to the race we have today. So they've already raced this course twice yesterday. Today will be the 3rd time. In the first heat, Veejay Jones finished in 24:04. Ryan Atkins finished in 24:08. So Veejay won the first race, but narrowly. In the second heat, Veejay won again, and this time with a little more of a margin. 23:08 for Veejay finishing time, 23:23 for Ryan Atkins. So Veejay has already beaten Ryan Atkins twice on this course, but by a combined time of 19 seconds over the 2 races. So Veejay may have some confidence going in based on his 2 wins, but Atkins knows that he was right behind him and it's going to be a close race. Something else to consider is that all the athletes knew, especially Veejay and Ryan, that there was no bonus prize. There was no, other than the title, other than bragging rights for the first 2 heats, it was all about advancing to the next round. So there wasn't a reason for Atkins to push Veejay for the win, other than they don't like losing. These are professional athletes. They race, for their living. They put food on their table with their race winnings. They're not used to losing. They don't like losing. So other than bragging rights, there was no reason for Atkins to push the issue. But at the same, Atkins doesn't like losing. So it's gonna be a race today. I was talking to some people here on site and asking them just, hey, what do you think's going to happen? Who do you think's going to win? And it's almost a 50-50 split for who's going to win on the men's side between Veejay and Ryan Atkins. The men's race is going to be an outstanding race today. What are your thoughts on the men's race, Jason?
To see the way that Ryan pushed on Veejay yesterday has got me extra excited about today. I think we're going to see the same thing, and they're just going to go all out. And while we got to see the front runners, take their time yesterday, today is going to be different.
It'll be interesting to see how the run affects the 2 athletes, the 2 men. There was a point in the second race yesterday where they finished the first gauntlet of obstacles, the first half of the course of obstacles. They left out for the run, and Atkins was in the lead. And they went out, they did their sandbag carry, their low crawl and their bucket carry, rather, and they did the quarter-mile run back. And when they came back, Veejay was in the lead. Veejay had taken the lead with that run, that half-mile run out and back. So it'll be interesting to see who the faster runner is and then who's stronger through obstacles. Both of them are fearless through the obstacles, but Atkins sometimes goes through obstacles with just such abandon, so fast, just throwing himself out there and kind of figuring out where to grab and how to land, on the fly. That the obstacle part of the race will be fun to watch.
Absolutely, and the women, I honestly don't expect much less. Although, we're unfortunately not going to see, Nicole at the top. We are going to see Rebecca Hammond versus Lindsay Webster. But, Lindsay's got some fire inside of her as well.
So Rebecca Hammond versus Lindsay Webster. Let's talk about the results from yesterday for the women. In the first, again, they ran 2 races yesterday. In the first race yesterday, Rebecca Hammond finished in 28:35. Lindsay Webster finished in 29:10. That's about 35 seconds behind her. Nicole Miracle finished first in both races. Let's just talk about Rebecca and Lindsay's times. So in the first race, Rebecca Hammond was 28:35. Lindsay Webster was 29:10. In the second race, Rebecca Hammond was 27:50. Lindsay Webster was exactly 3 minutes behind her at 30:50. Now again, with the same caveat that both women knew they only needed to make it to the top 4 in the first race to advance, and they only needed to make it to the top 2 in the second race to advance. Rebecca beat Lindsay both times. The second race was a little different in that the women kind of established themselves into there was the back 3. In the second race, they kind of spread out. The 4 women there was a clear first place, which was Nicole. There was a clear second, Rebecca. Clear third place, Lindsay Webster. And when Nicole went down, Rebecca moved up and she won the race, and then Lindsay moved up and she won second place. So the first race was won at the finish line or at the end. The second race had kind of been established by the third lap who was going to win the race and where everyone was going to fall behind. So although it shows Lindsay 3 minutes behind, I don't know if that's. I mean, yes, she finished 3 minutes behind. That's what the scoreboard says, 100% scoreboard. But I don't think her performance was a 3-minute behind performance in that second race.
And again, we're talking about a fresh start today. Round 2 yesterday, a lot of the athletes were talking about how just different it felt just from the sun and having the fatigue setting in from that first round.
I was talking to some of the athletes, and they said that the second heat, they felt like they were running in quicksand because they had the fatigue from the first race kicking in, and the heat as it got later in the day, the heat made them feel like they were sweating, like they were just running super slow. And I pulled out the times from the races, and I said, yeah, it might have felt like you were running slower, but you were a minute faster. What are you talking about? And they were surprised when they saw the times from yesterday. Just going back to Rebecca versus Lindsay for a minute. I would say Rebecca is favored to win this race. That's, she performed better in the first race. She performed much better in the second race than Lindsay. So I would say Rebecca's favored going in. But I would not count Lindsay Webster out. I said yesterday, we talked about how with Ryan Atkins, I never bet against Ryan Atkins. Every time Ryan Atkins goes into a race and it looks like someone else is favored because it maybe doesn't play exactly to Atkins' skill sets, Atkins finds a way to pull out a win. So I don't bet against Atkins, whether he's joining like a British bake-off show or whether it's Westminster Dog Show. Whatever Ryan Atkins is doing, I am picking him to win. Lindsay Webster, I don't bet against Lindsay Webster either. Lindsay has won multiple world championships. The OCR World Championships she's won 5 times. She has won the Spartan World Championship multiple times. Lindsay Webster has won the Spartan U.S. National Series every single year since its inception. So Lindsay Webster is no slouch. Now she was slower on the second race than Rebecca Hammond. There's no question about that. But Lindsay Webster knows how to win obstacle course races. Rebecca Hammond is a strong racer. She's a great racer. But I don't want to take anything away from Lindsay Webster going into this final race today.
Do we want to talk about the elites for a moment?
Yeah, let's talk about the elite race yesterday. So here at Hildervat, they have 3 categories, or really 4 categories of races. They have the pro race, which is what we've been focusing on, which is the top 6 men, top 6 women, an invitational style race. They have the open heats, which are open to anybody, and it's non-competitive. It's more go at your own pace. It's more about you challenging the course and having fun, and maybe go out with friends and just have a good time out there on the course. There's the relay race, which is you sign up with a team, and everyone does one lap, and you have a timing chip you pass off. And then there is the elite heat. And the elite heat really lands in between the open wave and the pro wave in terms of competitiveness. Anyone can sign up to run the elite heat, but you are timed. There are course marshals at the obstacles to ensure obstacle completion and that everyone follows the rules and that you get across completely. And there's prize money. There's a $500 first prize for first place for the men and the women. So yesterday they had the elite heat. So in the morning, the first race of the day was the 6-person men, 6-person women race. Then we watched later in the day the 4-person man, 4-person woman, the semifinals. But between those races, they held the elite heat, which was a competitive race, but it was open to the public. Anyone could sign up. Anyone could compete against everyone else. And some people traveled for the race. There were some athletes from other states that came down to watch the pro wave, but also to compete and do their own race. So looking at the men's leaderboard, Matthew Kimpson, the men's winner, let's just read them out. Matthew Kimpson with first, Noel Medina in second, Yanuel Mendez in third, Joseph Izzy in fourth, and Jean Rial in fifth. Matthew Kimpson, you might know as Ryan Kimpson's brother, or maybe you know Ryan as Matthew's brother, either way. Matthew Kimpson is the designer of the Kimpson rig, which is one of the obstacles on the course. There's 3 rigs on the Hildervat course, and Matthew designed the first one called the Kimpson rig. That's the one with the rope that the athletes jump out to. We saw the women yesterday jump out to it, grab onto it, hook a leg over it, and then spin. I saw the women, speaking of that Kimpson rig, the women did it so fast. I was watching some Instagram stories yesterday of athletes out here, and it was good to see some regular people doing that obstacle kind of at normal speed, because you jump out there, you grab it with 2 hands, you throw your body forward and hook one leg onto it, and then you just rotate 180 degrees using the back of your knee as a pivot point, and so now your head is facing toward the exit of the obstacle, and you pull yourself toward the next half of the rig. So that Kimpson rig, I'm very impressed with it. Matthew has a bit of a sideline job, or maybe his main job, but designing obstacles, and he did a good job with this Kimpson rig for Hildervat. On the women's side, Annie Doobie got first place. Mentioned her a minute ago. We'll talk about her in a sec. Ashley Samples in second. Jamie got third. Yaris Cruz in fourth, and Heather Golnick in fifth. Heather's actually a Masters athlete. She finished first in the Masters category, and you'll see her at a lot of races in Texas and the kind of the southeast. Annie Doobie in first place. She will be replacing Nicole Miracle in the elite relay race. After the women race, and then after the men race, there will be a draft. The pro athletes are going to pick teams, like on the playground, and there'll be 3 4-person teams doing a relay race of the course. And Annie's going to replace Nicole Miracle in the roster there. Nicole obviously won't be able to compete because of her injury. So the relay race is going to be fun to watch. It'll be the last race of the day. It'll be the end of our coverage after that race. You can catch more of us on Instagram. Hey, I want to talk more about this relay race and the relay draft, but while I'm talking about that, now is a good time for you to find that subscribe button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would love to bring you more videos and show you more races and more OCR content. So find that subscribe button and hit that like button, and we would appreciate it. So the relay race will be the 3rd and final race of the day. and it will be done by draft style. So here's the picking order. The first pick will go to the 6th place woman from yesterday's race, which will be Lauren Weeks. So Lauren Weeks has the first pick. Second pick will go to Faye Stinning. And then the third pick will go to the 6th place man from yesterday. That was Ray Omar. And then they'll just pick 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There'll be 3 teams, red, white, and blue. And they'll pick up their 4 teams of 4. It'll be 2 men and 2 women per team. And they can pick in any order. You can pick your first 2 girls first, 2 guys. It doesn't matter. You can pick in any order, but you have to end up, your final team has to be 2 men and 2 women. And then when they run the course will be the same course we've seen yesterday, the same course we'll see today, with the exception of the run, the quarter mile out, quarter mile back run, the low crawl, and the bucket carry have been removed. So it'll be just obstacles. So that'll favor athletes like Alex Walker, who's really strong on the obstacles, but gives some ground usually in that long run stretch. I was talking with some of the race staff, and there's been a lot of discussion over strategy for the draft. And again, the athletes are picking their teams. This isn't the race staff is doing this. I don't have a vote. You don't have a vote. It's up to Faye Stinning and Ray Omar and Lauren Weeks. They get to pick who they want on their team. So the thought is, Ray is picking third. Ray has to finish his team with 2 men. So he's going to be one of the 2 men. He has the 3rd pick. So the question is, when you get that 3rd pick, do you take the strongest possible man to be on your team? Because you're only going to get 1 more guy, and you're gonna have 2 women. So do you want the strongest possible man? Do you want the strongest possible athlete? As we see Ryan Woods carrying in Nicole Miracle. We'll talk more about Nicole in a sec. And if you are Lauren Weeks, you get the first pick. You can pick the absolute best athlete. Well, we just had a race to determine who the absolute best athlete was. Was it Ryan Atkins or Veejay Jones? We'll know by then. But do you pick that person? Or do you pick someone else because someone else is fresh? Ryan Atkins and Veejay Jones just gave everything they had to win $5,000. They're going to be a little gassed. There's only 15 minutes. There's at least 15 minutes, between 15 to 20 minutes, between the end of the men's heat and the start of the relay race. So how do you strategize? And I'll ask you, what do? If you're Lauren Weeks, you have the first pick. Do you pick a tired Veejay Jones, a tired Ryan Atkins, or do you pick a fresh and rested Ryan Kempson, who finished in 3rd yesterday? I don't know if there's a right. There clearly is a right answer, but I don't know what that right answer is strategy-wise. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Let me know what you think. Drop a note in the comments. We'll pull them up later.
I don't think Lauren would be wrong for picking the winner of the ladies first. They'll have had at least a good 30-minute rest before this race starts, maybe a little more.
And so Lauren and Faye behind her, they're only going to get 1 more woman. So if you only get 1 more woman, maybe I take the best woman, whoever won that last race, right now. There's a lot of strategy and second guessing, and there's that playground aspect of it too. Like, these athletes, most of them are friends with each other. Like, they don't want their friends out there. You know that picked last feeling?
They just asked me to make sure.
I don't know that picked last feeling, but
yeah,
no, I do.
She said if you have any,
no one wants to be picked last. That feeling stinks, and it's going to happen, and it's going to happen to someone who's a friend of yours probably, and you're probably responsible for it because you didn't pick them earlier. So it'll be fun to watch that draft. We'll have that coverage of that in between after the men's final, before the relay final.
We should expect to see them get the lineup going soon here. I see Rebecca Hammond next to the start line.
We're scheduled to start at 9 o'clock. We're already a minute past that. The race director has been very sensitive to the athletes' kind of needs for the race. So he wants to make sure they have time to warm up. He wants to make sure they are ready. They've taken care of the elite athletes at this race, of the pro athletes at this race very well. So you can see Rebecca Hammond there in the black running shorts. She's talking with the race director, Dan Woods. You can see the race MC there with the microphone. Looks like he's looking for Lindsay Webster. I saw, actually, there's Lindsay Webster with the background, talking to Dan Woods in the background there. So the women are down there. The women will race first, and they will race as soon as they do.
I'm excited. This is it's gonna kick off in just a moment here, and this is really what we've been waiting for. Watching all the other stuff and watching the 6 people go through the rig at one time. We've seen a lot of that, but this is something that we don't really ever see in obstacle course racing.
Head to head, mano e mano, $5,000 on the line for first place. Second, $2,000 for second place. First place also gets that title of Queen of the Beach. And I know both athletes are very excited about winning that title of $5,000 check holder.
Nicole's getting some nice treatment today. Well deserved.
And we're close. We're almost underway. We're looking forward to seeing them take the start block and get underway.
Here we go. Looks like they're lining up.
I'm not an expert, but it looks like Rebecca's got her ankle tape there. I wonder if that's Rebecca's a medical doctor. I wonder if she saw what happened to Lindsay and she just doesn't want it to happen to her. And is
she wearing gaiters?
Or to Nicole, rather.
That's kind of what it looks like, too.
So we have Rebecca Hammond on the left in shorts and the short top. We have Lindsay Webster on the right in the black t-shirt. And they're off. The women's final, Hildervat Battle of the Beach, is underway. Here we go. Women approach the first obstacle. They're going up to the walls, and they're over. Rebecca's over first. Lindsay right behind her. They approach the A-frame. Rebecca first to the obstacle. Lindsay picking up speed. Lindsay is stepping up there. Lindsay with the high steps. Lindsay goes over the top first. They flip at the same time. Lindsay's off first. Rebecca right behind her. They're neck and neck here as we're starting, going into the first rig. And at the first rig, Rebecca's first to the rig. Lindsay with both of the jump, the leg hook, and the spin. Rebecca just a hair in front of Lindsay at this point. Rebecca getting the momentum and the swing into the final ring. Rebecca off first. Oh, Lindsay missed the bell. Lindsay missed the bell, and she got it.
You got it.
Nice job, Lindsay. You got it.
Lindsay gave up about 50, 60 feet to Rebecca with that bell miss.
Wow.
Lindsay struggled as they're going up to the next obstacle. Lindsay struggled a little bit yesterday in a couple of obstacles. And as Rebecca's first to the rope climb, Lindsay's second. Lindsay running past Rebecca to get to a further rope. And Rebecca's gone. Rebecca's off the rope and she's done. Lindsay's still climbing up the rope. Lindsay hits the bell. Lindsay drops. Lindsay with a conservative rope exit. And Lindsay's off behind Rebecca. Rebecca with an early lead heading into the quarter-mile run. They're doing a quarter-mile run. They're going to go out to a low crawl. They're going to do that low crawl. They're going to do a bucket carry, a small loop of a bucket carry, carrying a 30-pound weighted bucket, and they're going to do a quarter-mile run back. We're looking at the first obstacle when they return, the cargo net rig. Here we are out at the bucket carry. We're waiting for Rebecca and Lindsay, and they should be out here shortly. You can see see a guy pulling his wagon and with his son out there. This is a public beach in Jacksonville, Florida, and one of the things that surprised me when I got out here was this venue is full of people who have nothing to do with the race. Usually when we go to a Spartan race or to a Tough Mudder, anyone at the site is there for the race, is there for Tough Mudder, is there for Spartan. But this venue is at a public beach, and I asked some of the staff, I said, is this going to be okay? Like, what do you guys think about this? And he said, they do 5Ks and half marathons down here all the time. We're used to it. It's no big deal.
For the pros.
And I'm sure that's true, but who's not used to it is the athletes. Like, they're running over, jumping over sunbathers and running around kids and toddlers, and there's some bonus obstacles on the course.
It's so wild to see just general public playing on the obstacles. Most races don't even let the athletes play on the obstacles before and after. So getting out there yesterday and kind of just playing on them, I didn't get to run the course, so got to try out the obstacles, which was great. But you see other people just playing around, and it was kind of fun to give a few tips and just take the everyday person that's never done an obstacle course race before and see how they do.
Yeah, it's obviously they leave the venues up overnight, the obstacles up at the venue overnight, and there's just random beachgoers that say, "Hey, here's this." Quality, professionally built obstacle with rings and cargo nets. I'm just going to play on it, and it's fine, I guess.
People filming their kids climbing the cargo net, all that stuff.
And here comes Rebecca Hammond first into the bucket carry. You see her, she came from the packed sand area. We call that the Hilder pack. She grabs the bucket, and she takes off. Rebecca Hammond first into the bucket carry, waiting for Lindsay Webster. You can see the race path there in between the stakes marked out. That small A-frame is just an indicator of the course so that they don't run too far.
This is really fantastic that we got to get a couple extra cameras out today and get to see them out at the bucket. There goes Lindsay.
Lindsay Webster into the bucket carry. Again, those buckets are about 30 pounds. It's fairly light by bucket carry standards. And Rebecca Hammond off.
So I don't think we even known that was part of the rules, that you can just drop the bucket and they'll pick it back up for you.
Looks like Lindsay Webster's about 20 to 25 seconds behind Rebecca Hammond now.
Now, Lindsay came back through a different path. That was very interesting.
Lindsay took a slightly different route back, and it looks like she might have had an extra 15, 20 paces she did not need to run for her bucket return. So they run on the soft sand when they have to, but they get to take advantage of that packed sand for the long run out, long run back within the race rules there. So now we're back at the cargo net, the cargo rig rather. This is the first obstacle we'll see when they get back. Rebecca Hammond taking an early lead over Lindsay Webster on the first lap. And Jason, I don't think we're surprised, but what are your thoughts on Rebecca's lead so far?
I think if we see it open up through this run right here, then that's going to kind of spell disaster for Lindsay. She really won't have a chance to catch up, barring something crazy like we saw yesterday.
Yeah, it's hot.
But it did happen twice yesterday.
But so they were skipping.
There were a couple of, obviously Nicole's injury was the most surprising, the worst moment of yesterday. But there were a couple surprising passes that we did get to see with Atkins versus Veejay. And there was a big one between Alex Walker and Faith Stinning at the end of the first race. Alex Walker passing Faith Stinning at the last obstacle of the course to move from 5th place into 4th place and secure Walker's place in the semifinals. So this is the women are more than halfway done with their first lap. This is a 3-lap course. Each lap is about 1 mile, a little longer than a mile. So it's a 5K course. This is the obstacle that Nicole came off awkwardly. You can see from this angle here, this is right at the exit point. And it's just sand. Like you're literally looking at just the sand that it happened on yesterday. There's no rigging. There's nothing to get hurt on necessarily. It was an awkward landing and one of those fluke accidents that you hope never happens. And here comes Rebecca Hammond first into the cargo rig. Grabbing the ring, grabs a hold of the trapeze bar to the cargo net, to the next ring, and she's through. Rebecca Hammond all the way through the cargo rig. Lindsay Webster not in sight yet. Well, that's got to be concerning for Lindsay Webster. Here she is.
That's a pretty good gap there, though.
So Rebecca's already moved on to the rest of the course, the rest of the obstacles. Lindsay on the first ring to the trapeze bar, the cargo rig with the swing, the ring, another trapeze bar, and Lindsay. Oh no, Lindsay missed the trapeze bar. And it's swinging now. It's hard to get grip. She got a grip. She's on. And she hit the bell. Another struggle on the obstacle. Not a failure, not disastrous, but it portends poorly for the rest of the course. If she's struggling on the first lap, it's concerning.
It does seem like she's just not being extremely proficient on the obstacles today.
Although, as we say that, she destroys the Thor's hammer pull. Rebecca Hammond falling off the vertical cargo rig, but she steps up, she's fine, no injury, brushes the sand off of her, and she's all right. And maybe it's just because of yesterday, but when you see an athlete fall like that, even though it can be completely innocuous, you get concerned. Rebecca's on her second lap now, all by herself, over the first wall. Rebecca approaching the A-frame, heading over it. It doesn't look like she's moving as fast as she was the first lap because she doesn't have the pressure of Lindsay Webster right next to her. Lindsay on the last obstacle of the first lap, the vertical cargo net. Rebecca flipping carefully, and she's off.
And she's got that patented angle rolled.
Lindsay Webster finishing the first lap, the last obstacle of the first lap, heading for her second lap. She's approaching the first wall. Rebecca's already finished the first wall and the obstacle past this. Rebecca's now on the Kimpson rig, and she's finishing the Kimpson rig. Hits the bell. Rebecca's off for the rope climb. Lindsay's 3 obstacles behind Rebecca now. Jason, you got to spend some time on these obstacles yesterday. What are your thoughts on the difficulty of them?
I like the difficulty on them. They're not too hard. Doing them fresh, they were pretty easy. Just hard enough to be able to really find a great technique, work that out before the race. And here we see Lindsay doing that leg switch technique. I tried that out yesterday, and it works very effectively. Putting the leg on, spinning yourself around.
So after a couple, and you see Nicole Miracle cheering on the ladies. Nicole knows she should be in this race. So Rebecca's established a lead. She has her lead on Lindsay right now. If you are Rebecca Hammond, you're happy. You're very happy with how the race is going. But we talked about the mental side of racing, of obstacle course racing. It's possible, and it's even tempting maybe to become complacent as Lindsay takes off for the run. And think, okay, I know I have a lead. I know she's 3 obstacles behind me. I don't need to sweat it. I can just, kind of cruise on here and cruise for the win. If Rebecca allows that to happen, if she allows that mindset to sneak in, that will give Lindsay Webster the room to make a move.
Right. The important thing here is for her to just play it safe, take her time, make sure she doesn't make any mistakes.
So Rebecca's done a good job of establishing a lead, and we've seen how she did it. She just slowly, methodically, she hasn't failed any obstacles, she hasn't struggled with any obstacles. Lindsay hasn't failed any obstacles either, but she struggled with at least 2 that we've seen. Although Lindsay going through that Kimpson rig just a minute ago, she was smooth and she was clean. So if Lindsay can stay clean on her obstacles, it looks like at this point she's going to need Rebecca to make a mistake. She's going to need Rebecca to fall off an obstacle. She's going to need Rebecca to run much slower than she probably should be running on this stretch of running. We're looking from the bucket carry back toward the rest of the course. Rebecca's going to come from that sand-packed area to the white. The white obstacles are for the women. The white buckets are for the women. The black buckets are for the men. The black buckets are 50 pounds.
With only 1.5 laps to go, it really would take something amazing for Lindsay to catch up. I can't really see her pushing the way she was running in the sand after the cargo flip. I can't really see her pushing the pace that much.
See Rebecca Hammond coming up now. It's difficult to explain how difficult it is, or how different it is to run in sand. There's so much give, especially in this white coarse, fine sand.
Right there by the bucket there, that sand is so soft and so giving.
It just saps the energy out. You're used to pushing against the ground when you run and getting the ground pushing back, and the sand just gives away, and you're doing a lot more work for the same level of effort or same level of speed running.
I think some of them were hoping that the bucket carry would go down into the water, but you can see it gets really just right up to where the tide stops. But that's just something that they couldn't really account for. Where exactly is the tide going to be? But that's a tough one.
So Rebecca and Lindsay have slightly different. We're going to watch Lindsay do her second bucket carry here in a second. It seems like they have slightly different routes they're taking on the bucket carry. And I don't know if one is right or one is wrong necessarily. It looks like they're both on the course. It's just that Lindsay cuts back left toward where she got the bucket, whereas Rebecca just goes back toward the actual race course faster. And this does not account, like, Rebecca clearly has a good lead on Lindsay, but it's not just from 15 feet here at the bucket carry.
Yeah, interestingly, I don't really see any taping there. There's some sticks, but that's about it.
So let's watch how Lindsay's route on the way back. They're both staying on the path the entire time. It's here at the end of the bucket carry where their paths diverge a little bit. Rebecca would go right here, and Lindsay goes back left. I don't think Lindsay needs to go back that way. I think Rebecca's on the actual marked route, and I think Lindsay's adding, I don't know, 50, 75 feet of running that she doesn't need to do.
Yeah, it's not a ton, but it's definitely not helping her in this situation.
So you might watch this and you might say, well, they're taking different routes. Like, is one of them off the course? Is that... the answer is no. Rebecca's on course, and that happens to be a shorter path. Lindsay stayed on the course. She went off to return her bucket, and she got back to the course. So this isn't a penalty situation or anything to be concerned of, that way. So both the women are halfway through the race. Rebecca is leading Lindsay by, I'd say, 45 seconds to a minute right now. And we're waiting for So still looking at this cargo rig obstacle, waiting for the women to come in as they finish their run. And Rebecca's through it. Rebecca is on the Thor's hammer pull, still with her lead over Lindsay Webster. Waiting to see exactly where Lindsay is in the race right now. Still waiting for Lindsay to get to the cargo rig. Rebecca running past the axe carry. It's been quite a race. Rebecca has done a great job of establishing a lead, and it doesn't look like she's slowing up. She's not taking it easy. She knows who Lindsay Webster is, and she knows Lindsay's resume, and she knows Lindsay knows how to win races. And Rebecca Hammond is smart as well. And she says, I have an advantage, I'm going to press the advantage, and I am going to keep this lead and keep running. So Lindsay's trying to catch up, and Rebecca's not letting her. Rebecca's starting her third lap now as she moves along the course. Lindsay Webster's reached the cargo net rig. She's on the first ring to the trapeze bar, to the cargo net. Grabbing hold of that ring, using the cargo net for momentum there to get a good swing. She doesn't want to miss the trapeze bar again. And hit the bell, and she's through. Well done, Lindsay. So at this point, Lindsay's running one direction on the course. Rebecca's running the opposite direction. They can see each other. The obstacles are close enough they can see each other, passing each other. Lindsay knows exactly where Rebecca is. Rebecca knows where Lindsay is. Rebecca's just finished the A-frame cargo net, and she's off toward the Kempson rig as Lindsay's working on her next obstacle, trying to catch up with Rebecca now. Rebecca's through the Kempson rig. She's heading off toward the rope climb. So Rebecca's done a good job of building that lead. She's established it, and she's putting the hammer down. Lindsay's climbing the vertical cargo net now. This is the last obstacle of the second lap for Lindsay Webster. She goes across it. She knows she has some work to do to catch Rebecca on this last lap. They're 2/3 of the way through the race, and honestly, Rebecca's probably 2 1/4 of the way through the race. I've noticed, Jason, tell me if I'm wrong, I've noticed both women seem to be very conservative coming off of the obstacles. They know what happened to Nicole yesterday, and nobody wants a repeat of what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rebecca, with the lead that she has, it is, I think, even more important that she's going to be playing it safe here.
Lindsay Webster over the 4-foot walls, and she's up onto the A-frame cargo net. At this point, Lindsay's going to need to make a move, and she's going to need Rebecca to stumble on an obstacle. She's going to need her to fail something. She's going to need Rebecca to struggle with a rig, or maybe even fail an obstacle so that Lindsay has time to catch up with her at that obstacle. Here's Lindsay on the Kempson rig. Takes a minute before she jumps. Does her leg hook. And she moves her way through the obstacle with a swing to the Tarzan rope, that ring, and she's through. Good job, Lindsay. Lindsay off toward the rope climb. And then Rebecca's through the rope climb already. Rebecca's already off on her run. We're going to see Rebecca at the bucket carry shortly as Lindsay approaches the rope climb. Let's see how she tackles the rope climb. Lindsay grabs the first rope available this time, making her way up. We talked yesterday about when athletes tire, they walk slower into obstacles and they walk slower out of obstacles. We did not see any of that from Lindsay Webster right there. She ran into the rope, grabbed the rope, climbed it, finished the obstacle, ran up the rope, or ran away from the rope. So I don't think Lindsay's showing fatigue. I think it's just at this point, Rebecca's running faster, and Rebecca is completing obstacles maybe a little bit faster than Lindsay. And that's how you win a race, is by, you might want to write this down, kids, that's how you win a race, is by going faster than the other guy. So Rebecca's done that consistently, and she's built up a good lead over Lindsay right now.
If you can get to the finish line first, that's going to win the race for you.
So they are on their last lap. This is the final lap of 3. This is the halfway point we're looking at the bucket carry.
The final bucket carry for these ladies.
And here's Rebecca Hammond coming from that hard-packed sand, heading for the white buckets to grab her 30-pound bucket and do that short loop with the bucket. You know, Rebecca, she's still running, but you can see a little bit of fatigue in those legs as she's just in the form there. But she's still running. Look at that. The tendency is you do a bucket carry and you get through it, you walk through it, and you kind of grunt through it. But Rebecca's still running. I would say she's feeling it, but she's feeling the fatigue, but she's pushing through it, and she's not slowing down.
Seeing the pros run through carries is definitely one of the things that sets them apart. You know, I feel like if I can run, even if it's basically the same pace as I do running, walking, it's still better than just walking with the carry. And again, you saw her go to the right of that stand and then just toss the bucket on the ground.
I don't think that clearly Nicole is picking up, Rebecca is gaining ground on Lindsay every time they do that bucket carry, because Lindsay's going off to the left. She's probably walking an extra 50 feet that Rebecca's not running. But that doesn't account for the gap there. The gap that Rebecca's built up over Lindsay is more than just the bucket carry gap.
You know, with the time that it's been since Rebecca's left and Lindsay's still yet to come in, they're passing each other on that run here. And, Rebecca's seeing it and is probably feeling a little bit of relief, like, I know I've got this in the bag as long as I don't make any mistakes.
And something to remember is, at this point in the race yesterday, Nicole was in the exact same situation. So Rebecca's got that knowledge in the back of her head. So don't get cocky. I need to finish 3 more obstacles, and then I've got the race won. As we see Lindsay running up here, she is a good minute and 30 seconds, minute and 45 seconds behind Rebecca at this point. That's a lot of time to make up for in half of one lap. Less than, I'd say, a half-mile run with 4 obstacles, including the bucket left.
She's not slowing down, though. She's giving it all she's got.
That's a good point. At this point, Lindsay knows, hey, I'm probably beat. But she's not stopping. She's not walking it out. Whether she finishes a second behind Rebecca or an hour behind Rebecca, she's got second place secured in the race. But Lindsay's not giving up anything. And Lindsay running again to the left to drop off her bucket.
Yeah, if you do give it up at this point, then any mistakes or any crazy happenings, then you don't get to take advantage of those if you're not giving it all you got.
The race isn't over. Rebecca still has 2 difficult obstacles in front of her, the cargo rig and then the final finishing rig. There's an easy obstacle in the middle there too, an easier obstacle, the Thor's hammer pole. But for Lindsay to have a chance now, she's going to need a mistake from Rebecca. She's going to need an obstacle failure, maybe even 2 obstacle failures from Rebecca to make up the ground. The race is a 100% obstacle completion race. There's no penalty for failed obstacles. You have to finish the obstacle. So if Rebecca struggles on a rig, or she falls to the ground, she has to go back to the beginning of the obstacle and complete it. And that's what will give Lindsay that time to catch up with her. So this is the 3rd from last obstacle, the cargo rig. Rebecca Hammond approaching, she grabs it, she runs right into it, showing no signs of fatigue.
One-handed on that net, wow.
Swing, bell, she's through. She has 2 obstacles left for the win.
And she skipped that last bar, too. Really smooth move.
Rebecca smoothed through the obstacles. Rebecca Hammond on the Thor's hammer pole. That knot has to get up to a certain point. There's a judge telling her you're good to go, and she's gone. Rebecca Hammond with 1 obstacle left before she wins the race. And the spectator crowd following along, watching. They know what lap they're on. They know where the athletes are. They're excited to see the win. Waiting to see Lindsay get into the cargo rig here. Lindsay on that quarter-mile run still, coming back to the course. This is a look at the...
Not sure if we got a feed on the that last rig right now, unfortunately.
And here's Lindsay on the cargo rig.
That's Rebecca.
Oh, Rebecca on the finishing rig. She's getting across, no struggles, clean grabs, good swing, good momentum, last ring, then the bell, and she's through. Rebecca Hammond has a 50-foot run to win the race. Rebecca Hammond has won the battle on the beach. Congratulations, Rebecca Hammond. Rebecca Hammond just won $5,000 and the title of Queen of the Beach. Rebecca Hammond, your 2021 Hildervat Battle on the Beach champion.
She likes this last one right here. Jeff, can you let me? Jeff, she likes this lane, so. That's what I mean. That's her lane, so I wanted to see.
Congratulations to Rebecca Hammond. Here comes Lindsay Webster. She's here to finish the race. At this point, she knows Rebecca's finished the race already. She knows that she's in second. So she just needs to finish a clean race and claim her second place prize. On that last ring, Lindsay getting momentum again. Grabbing the bar. No problem grabbing the bar this time. The bell, and she's through. She has 2 obstacles left to finish the race. Lindsay Webster in second place. Rebecca Hammond already finished, already won the battle on the beach. It's kind of an establishing shot. You can see where the obstacles are in relation to each other. And here comes Lindsay. Lindsay's through the Thor's hammer. She's running up to and approaching the final obstacle, the finishing rig. The crowd letting Lindsay Webster know that she is appreciated. And here comes Lindsay into the final obstacle, finishing rig. These pipes are a deceptive grip. There's 2 pipes that actually spin when you grab onto them. She's at the start of the last obstacle. She catches her breath, trying to keep her body up close. It's difficult to do with those pipes because they spin. It's a different type of grip on those pipes.
She's not going with the chicken wing today.
She chicken winged it yesterday, which is a more conservative way to get across. It's a safer way. She must be feeling
through.
strong. And she's through. Lindsay Webster crossing the finish line. Lindsay Webster, your second place finisher. Hildervat, battle on the beach. Congratulations, Lindsay Webster. Lindsay Webster wins $2,000 with her second place performance. Well done, Rebecca Hammond and Lindsay Webster. Congratulations. Great race. Well done, ladies. Well, Jason, what do you think about the race?
Unfortunately, it I think probably turned out the way we somewhat expected. You know, we kind of had a feeling Rebecca was going to run away with it, and that's exactly what happened. Lindsay just couldn't keep up the speed on the sand, it seems.
You know, it's surprising we've seen such domination from Lindsay in the past. And she's beaten Rebecca in multiple races in the past. That Rebecca beat her, you know, pretty fairly, pretty cleanly, and there wasn't really. Rebecca established that lead early in the first lap, and she kept building it. We're going to get a look at the final finishing times, but it looked like Rebecca was about 3 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes ahead of Lindsay Webster with the final finishing time. So a great race by both ladies, and Rebecca Hammond with a dominating performance.
We weren't recording. I don't know why.
Okay. All right.
So I'll put it.
Rebecca Hammond with a dominating performance. Well done, Rebecca and Lindsay. Great race. We're looking forward to the men's race up next. Veejay Jones versus Ryan Atkins. Plenty of time to talk about them. Just 3 minutes and change it looked like between the two of them, between Lindsay and Rebecca. It was a strong performance by Rebecca. We knew Rebecca would do well, and we talked about it in the pre-race. We expected her to be a favorite. But I don't think we expected that level of
3 minutes and change it looked like between the two of them, between Lindsay and
dominance from Rebecca Hammond. So well done, Rebecca. Congratulations. Hope you have something nice to spend that $5,000 on. What would you do with $5,000 if you won a race this weekend? Congratulations, first place, $5,000. What are you going out to spend that $5,000 on? New pair of shoes, running shorts. Question from the comments. You can drop a comment in the YouTube channel if you'd like. Relay starts at 8. Question from Dan. The relay is going to start after the pro relay will start after the men's final. The men's final is coming up here next, and then they'll have at least 15 minutes between the end of the men's final and the start of the relay race to draft teams and for the men to rest up. The women are resting up now. Lindsay and Rebecca are going to race again at that relay race, and there's $2,000 for first place. No prize for second or third. So they'll, another $500 per team member is nothing to shake a stick at. First place is $2,000. Second prize is a set of steak knives. Third prize is nothing. You're fired. No one's fired. So waiting for the men. Veejay Jones and Ryan Atkins. Looking forward to the men's final. The men's final is going to be an exciting race. Veejay and Ryan are very closely matched. Veejay is younger. Ryan has more experience. Ryan's won more races. Veejay's already won some races this year. Ryan actually won a race last week at Savage Race, Ohio. That was his first race since the pandemic and quarantine and shutting down everything. So Ryan came back last week. Ryan and Lindsay both raced last weekend to kind of keep the rust off, and Ryan won his race. Lindsay did not. Lindsay had a great lead in her race. She would have won the race, but she got stuck on the last obstacle. She could not get past it. So Lindsay DNF'd last week at Savage, Ohio. Ryan won his race, and Lindsay, really, she should have won the race, but there was a super hard rig at the end. So anyway, looking forward. Ryan Atkins versus Veejay Jones. Ryan Atkins has won World's Toughest Mudder 6 times. World's Toughest Mudder is a 24-hour race on a 5-mile looped course. So the man and woman who do the most loops of that 5-mile obstacle course race in 24 hours are the winner. And Ryan has won that race 6 years in a row,
your friend punishes you or not.
usually running 100 miles or close to it. One year he and Lindsay won it as part of a team, a relay team. They won 60 or 65 miles that year. It's 2018. But other than that, Ryan usually runs 100 miles or close to it every November at World's Toughest Mudder. So, World's Toughest Mudder is kind of the granddaddy of the 24-hour races. Spartan Race has their own version of that, the 24-hour ultra race that Atkins has won 2 years in a row. And he's actually the reigning champion, the reigning Spartan 24-hour champion. Atkins is. His specialty, I wouldn't say I'd say it. His specialty is the long endurance races, where it's just gutting it out, and it takes obstacle strength and it takes running proficiency, obviously, but there is a large element of grit and endurance, and just taking the pain for hours and hours and hours at a time. Imagine going out and doing a 12-hour obstacle course race where your body is just beat up. 12 hours long. Oh my gosh, that's so long to just do obstacles and pulling and push-ups and just going over walls and climbing ropes. And then at the 12-hour point, you look at your watch and you're like, oh great, I'm halfway done. And that's what World's Toughest Mudder is. That's what the Spartan 24-hour Ultra is. And Atkins has won those races combined 8 times. Veejay is young. Veejay, when Atkins was winning his first world's toughest mudder, Veejay, was like 15 years old. So, and I don't even think that's an exaggeration. Veejay's, he's in his early 20s right now. So Veejay's the current North American points leader for Spartan in the U.S. National Series. Given that's after only one race, the series has had a slower rollout this year than in past years due to the state restrictions, code restrictions in California mainly. But Veejay won the first race. He is the current points leader. There's 4 more races in that series, and we expect to see Atkins and Lindsay Webster at more of those races in the series. It's a 5-race series, and your top 3 races count toward your total. And then the racer with the most points from their best 3 races is the Spartan U.S. National Series champion. So we're getting ready. Men are getting toward the start line, and we'll be underway soon.
Here we go. This is exciting.
And we're underway. The men's 2021 Battle on the Beach. Veejay Jones, Ryan Atkins, and they are neck and neck going into the first obstacle. They hit the wall. Boom. Veejay over slightly faster than Ryan. Veejay in the black, Ryan Atkins in the red. Veejay jump. Yeah, a little hop skip. Veejay hits the top first and just jumps down. Atkins with the same 1 second behind Veejay Jones. Veejay hits the Kimson rig first. Veejay with the jump, the reach. Kimson just a second behind. Veejay takes a look at Atkins to see where he's at. Veejay through first. Atkins right behind him. And off to the rope climb. Atkins letting Veejay take the lead. Atkins matching him step for step. Atkins right behind Veejay, making use of that Hilder draft.
Right on his heels.
Veejay first into the rope climb. Atkins right behind him. Veejay hits the top. Atkins down. Veejay first into the run. Atkins moves left first to get to that hard-packed sand as soon as possible. Atkins with a little strategy there, a little strategery for his route selection. Again, just like Rebecca and Lindsay with the buckets, both pads legal. Atkins letting Veejay take a little bit of a lead, and it looks like Atkins could have established himself in front if he wanted to, but they are both literally right next to each other.
If Atkins can hang on and stay with him through all 3 laps, he's got the momentum and the gut to power through those last obstacles and pass him up.
So we're at the halfway point of the first lap, looking back toward the course. We're looking for Veejay and for Atkins to come out of that hard-packed sand area. So when they went into this route, Veejay was just ahead of Atkins. Someone asked me if they think Veejay or Ryan is just a faster, pure runner, and I don't know the answer to that. They are both very, very fast. I really if you were to line them up on a track and shoot a gun and just say who is faster, I could not pick. They're both so fast that I literally could not pick which one is faster on just a straight run.
Yeah, that's something we don't see a lot of in OCR is pro athletes going head-to-head in 5Ks or mile time trials.
And the other half of that question is who's faster on obstacles. And if you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have said Atkins, absolutely. But Veejay has only gotten stronger in the last 2 years.
Veejay looking back to see where Ryan was that was pretty wild. I'm very curious to see what he was thinking right there.
It looked like Veejay was trying to... Veejay knows Ryan is fast. Veejay knows Ryan can keep up with him. Here's Veejay into the bucket carry. Going to the men's side, the black lids.
Ryan shortly behind him.
Not far behind him, 30 feet, 25 feet behind him. Veejay taking another look at Atkins with that spin there. Wanting to know where he is.
Nice spin move.
Atkins grabs his bucket.
He is hustling.
And they're both running. Those buckets are 50 pounds each, which for the men is not a heavy bucket carry. They're used to heavier buckets than that. So Veejay first to drop off his bucket. Veejay with the Rebecca Hammond location. Atkins right behind.
Same direction.
Same spot. Atkins seeing where Veejay drops his bucket off, and Atkins not going to yield a foot to Veejay. Atkins about 12 seconds behind Veejay right now. And they're off to the run. You can see them going through the beachgoers. Just going to the beach on a Sunday morning, and hey, here's these two athletes running through carrying sand buckets. What is going on, Mabel?
Who's these Rocky and Apollo guys running down the beach? Are we going to see them jump in the water and splash around and hug?
So we're back at the cargo rig, waiting for Veejay and Ryan to come back. They're doing a quarter-mile run. They did a quarter-mile run out to the buckets. They're doing a quarter-mile run back. And we'll see them shortly.
I think the second lap through, seeing how far back the second place person is at the bucket is going to really tell the story here. If a big gap is opened up by lap 2, that could be the final.
I don't think Atkins lets that gap open up. I think Atkins gives Veejay enough room to feel comfortable, but I don't think Atkins lets him go. I think he kind of keeps him roped in, and Atkins has this tendency, and we've seen this in a lot of races in the past, he starts out slow. Now, this isn't a race where you have time to start out slow, but he starts out slower than the pack, and he just picks off the people in front of him. He'll go from 5th to 4th to 3rd, and he'll move up till he wins the race. And it's a similar tactic he could be using right now to let Veejay have a little bit of room, let him think that he's in the driver's seat, when really it's just Atkins behind him with the reins, and Atkins is keeping control. And here, as we see Veejay coming into the cargo rig, running up to it. Veejay Jones, first out of the run, first back to the cargo rig. I don't see Atkins behind him. Veejay jumps out, attacking it. Cargo net, trapeze bar bell, boom, and he's through.
That was nice and smooth, and Atkins is coming right behind him.
Atkins 11 seconds behind Veejay at this point. Atkins has there's the same gap now as there was at the bucket carry. Atkins is not yielding any extra room. Atkins has established a 11 to 12 second gap between the two of them. You could say Veejay's established it. Ryan is keeping it there where he wants it. Veejay through the Thor's hammer, heading for the last obstacle on the first lap, the vertical cargo climb. Veejay Jones with the name jersey there. Climbing up, let's see how he attacks the transition from right to left. Going over, grabbing, and the flip. And Atkins right behind him. Atkins is not, that 11 second, 12 second gap is not changing. Atkins a little hesitancy on the drop there. Veejay, first obstacle of the second lap, the green walls, heading to the A-frame as he climbs up. With that hop again. That hop is a risky move. I want to talk about that in a second. Atkins literally 12 seconds behind Veejay. They are running at the same pace, just 12 seconds apart. Veejay jumps ahead into the Kempson rig, grabs it, Tarzan swing, looks back to see where Atkins is. Veejay is very aware of where he is in relation to Atkins. He is watching that race. And here's Veejay heading toward the rope climb. So they've got that first sprint, the first hard out of the gate, out of their way. Veejay's established a consistent pace. Veejay has a favorite rope he likes to go to. And he missed the bell. He drops. He knows he missed the bell. He knows that cost him some energy. He kind of kicks himself mentally there as he heads off for the hard packed sand. You can see Veejay kind of gritting his teeth to himself as he, I missed that. That cost me something.
Ryan's Ryan out of the rope right there.
Right out of the rope climb. Again, 10, 12 seconds behind Veejay. Veejay is in the lead, but it feels like Ryan Atkins is in control. It'll be interesting to get their thoughts after the race to see what his strategy was, what Veejay was thinking as he kept looking back. Clearly, Ryan's in Veejay's head, but Veejay's in front. Veejay has the lead. Veejay, if you had to pick one person, you'd probably want to pick the guy in front. But Ryan Atkins does not look like he is worried about Veejay, even though he's in second place. He's keeping that lead a consistent 10 to 12 seconds at every obstacle.
Yeah, is Veejay holding strong here? Is he starting to feel gassed? Can he hold this pace throughout the rest of the what we got, a lap and a half left?
When you ask athletes, would you rather be in front or would you rather be the chased or the chaser? Almost universally, they say the chaser, because that's the guy who knows, has all the information. The guy who is being chased, the guy who is chasing, he knows how fast the front guy's going. He knows how fast the back guy is going, and he knows what he has to do to win the race. The guy who's in the front, yes, he has the lead, but he does not know what the level of fatigue is in the guy behind him. He doesn't know how long the guy can keep up that pace. It's very difficult. There's a mental strain to being the guy in the front of the race. And Ryan knows this. And I think we'll see what happens, how this plays out, but I think Ryan Atkins kind of has the race where he wants it right now. And again, this sounds crazy to say. I know. Atkins is in second place. You'd rather be in first place, 100%. But Atkins is no dummy, and he knows what he's doing here. But Veejay's making him work for it. If Veejay stays in front the whole time, he's going to win the race. That's how it works. The first guy across wins. But Atkins is only 12 seconds behind him. If Veejay makes one mistake, Atkins is passing him and gone. And even without a mistake, Atkins is so close that he can still make a move. And here comes Veejay into the bucket carry. Grabs that black one, and he is still running.
That gap may have opened up a little bit. I could see him in the background, but it did look like he was a little further behind. At this point last round, Atkins was already into the bucket carry.
That gap has doubled. It's 24 seconds now. Atkins is 24 seconds behind Veejay Jones. That's coming straight out of the run. So here's what to watch for right now. Jones is dumping his bucket. He's heading back for the second half of the run. Atkins is finishing his half of his bucket carry here. Let's see what the gap is when they get back to the cargo rig obstacle. If that gap has increased from 24 seconds, it means that Veejay Jones is continuing to apply the pressure and continuing to put space between him and Atkins. If Atkins can narrow that gap back to 15 seconds, 12 seconds, then that means Atkins knows what's going on and he knows he needs to keep close to Veejay Jones. If Jones can increase the lead from 24 seconds to 40 seconds to 45 seconds, then that will show that Jones is in control of the race. Jones is setting the pace.
It's one thing in those endurance races. I prefer those endurance races because it's a much slower, sometimes more painful burn, but much slower, and it doesn't catch up to you so quick. So doing those quick, like the 3K at OCRWC, I mean, that's where, to me, the race is hardest. Pushing yourself into everything you've got for 20, 30 minutes is really, really hard.
These guys are pushing so hard. They're on their second lap. They're actually halfway through the course now. They finished 1.5 laps. They're finishing their second lap, and they'll start their third and final lap in about 3 more obstacles. What a race. Veejay has been in front from the go. Atkins right behind him. This last bucket carry is the first time Veejay's had more than a 12-second lead on Atkins the whole race. This will be the first obstacle after they finish this second half of the run, the cargo rig. We expect to see Veejay Jones first. Now, if Ryan Atkins is in front right now, then something dramatic happened. But here comes Veejay. Veejay approaching the cargo rig, third obstacle from the end of the second lap.
Still looking strong in that run.
Grabs the cargo, grabs that trapeze bar, bell, boom. Veejay is so smooth through there, he's able to skip about every other grip on the obstacles. to the Thor's hammer. No problem for Veejay Jones. 3 yanks and he's through. Veejay approaching the last obstacle on the course, the vertical cargo net. So we're at a 20. Okay, here comes Ryan Atkins to the cargo rig, and there's a 33-second gap between Atkins and Jones right now. Jones increased that lead. He had a 24-second lead at the bucket carry. He now has a 33-second lead on Atkins.
You can see how hard Ryan pushed through that rig. He is pushing and trying to make up some time here. I think he's giving it all he's got.
He knows he's behind. It feels like the last 2 obstacles, the last half of this lap, the control has shifted from Atkins to Veejay Jones. So Jones is starting his 3rd lap. Jones is over the first obstacle on his 3rd lap, the wall. Let's watch for the bunny hop onto the A-frame. Boop. That's risky. If both of your legs go through that, you could get stuck in there. Not risky about injury, but risky about just getting stuck in there. As Atkins approaches the A-frame, he is now 38 seconds behind Veejay. Veejay is increasing the lead steadily. Veejay is applying the pressure. He's getting a few seconds ahead of Atkins at each obstacle.
Does he take that look back? He did. Maybe not far back enough to actually see Atkins, but he could tell that he wasn't there.
He knows he has some space. He knows he's built a lead over Atkins. He knows he's on his 3rd and final lap. All Veejay has to do is maintain this pace and not let Atkins make a move, and he will win the $5,000 first prize and the title King of the Beach. Veejay up the rope climb, hits the top, and he's down. Not even a look back that time. He's off to the sand. Atkins into the Kimpson rig. He's moving faster now. He's moving fast to these rigs. He knows he needs to make up time. 36-second gap between him and Veejay Jones. So as Atkins approaches the rope climb, here's Atkins. Quick leap up the rope to the top, drop down.
That was much faster than Veejay, especially since Veejay missed.
So Atkins,
what was that last round?
That was last lap. Atkins is off to the run. So the last time we checked, Atkins had Veejay had a 36-second lead on Atkins. Let's see what it looks like when they get to the bucket carry. If Atkins is able to make up ground, they both know this is the last lap. Veejay needs to keep putting the pressure on. This is the time for Atkins to make a move right now. He's 36 seconds behind Veejay. He needs to gain some ground on this run. He needs to keep pace or gain ground through the bucket carry, and he needs to gain ground on the run back. If Atkins Atkins needs to narrow the gap by the time they get back to the cargo rig. He needs to narrow that gap to no more than 10 to 12 seconds to have a chance.
I think Atkins is gaining time on these rigs, but Veejay is still so smooth through them, it's just not enough.
And it's not enough to gain 2 seconds or 4 seconds at a time now. There's the bucket carry, there's the cargo, there's the low crawl, there's 5 obstacles left in the race right now. They're on the last half of the last section of the last lap of the course. There's 5 obstacles. That's not enough time on obstacles. Atkins needs to make up time on the run right now. And here comes Veejay in. Veejay going onto the soft sand early, it looks like.
Very early.
Usually you would see them kind of go around that umbrella over there. That's just a visitor's umbrella. That's not part of the course, but that would be where they tend to come.
Yeah, so many spectators, or not spectators even, just regular people out there to go around.
And Veejay to the bucket carry. First to the bucket carry. Atkins not in sight as Jones doing a little extra running he didn't have to do there, going off the course. That's a mental mistake. These guys are tired. They wouldn't make that mistake on the first lap. And you might ask, is that a penalty? No, it's not a penalty. It didn't help him. He didn't gain a competitive advantage. He just ran 6 feet he didn't need to run. As Jones finishing his bucket carry, throwing it down. Atkins still has not begun his bucket carry. Atkins is at least 30 seconds behind Jones now. Atkins has not narrowed that gap. They just passed,
They just passed each
They
other.
just passed each other. And see where Ryan's coming in off the sand? That's where we would expect to see him come in. Atkins has slowed down since the last time we saw him. He's 56 seconds behind Veejay Jones, almost a minute. At this point, with that gap, Veejay's increased the lead that he had on Atkins. They both know exactly where each other are. They just passed each other as Veejay was leaving the bucket carry and as Ryan was getting to the bucket carry. Ryan knows now he needs Veejay to make a mistake for Atkins to have a chance to win.
You can see Atkins still pushing through the obstacles. It's just, I think, the run, he just doesn't have that speed on this beach. At least not today.
So Atkins and Jones on the last lap of the course, they have 3 obstacles left. They have the cargo rig. They have what we're looking at right now. They have the Thor's hammer pole. That's the Hildervat version of what we would call the Herthoist, or what you might know as a Herthoist. And then they have the finisher rig, which is that pipe grip rig with the green straps at the very end. We saw Nicole and Lindsay, or Lindsay and Rebecca go through, rather. Atkins is a minute behind Veejay. He's going to need Veejay to make a mistake on this rig or the last rig to have a chance. And if you're an Atkins fan, you're thinking Veejay hasn't made a mistake yet. He hasn't shown any weakness yet. It's gonna take something unexpected for Atkins to beat Veejay at this point. And here's Veejay into his third to last obstacle on the cargo rig. He jumps in clean, grabs the cargo net, no struggle. Trapeze bar, bell, he's through. He has 2 obstacles left. He knows it.
He did not take any time there and hesitate to play it safe. He's still getting through nice and smooth.
And he's done. Done with the Thor's hammer pull. Veejay Jones has 1 obstacle left before winning the race, to win the race. No look over his shoulder now. He's confident. He's not worried about Atkins anymore. He just needs to take care of business. He brushes his hands off, gets the sand off, gets ready for the last obstacle, the finisher rig.
And we're still not seeing Ryan at that next rig.
Veejay passing up the vertical cargo that would lead him to another lap if he was doing it. Heading for the finisher rig. Final obstacle of lap 3. The crowd giving Veejay some love as he approaches. Veejay swings smoothly, going hand to hand, very conservative, taking his time. He knows he has the time. He does not want to fall. An obstacle failure is the only way Atkins would have a chance at this point. And he's through. He hit the bell. Veejay Jones. As he crosses the finish line, Veejay Jones, your 2021 Hildervat Battle on the Beach champion. Congratulations, Veejay Jones. Veejay Jones just won $5,000 and the title, King of the Beach. Veejay Jones, congratulations.
We missed Ryan going through that next rig whenever Veejay was going across his, so we're not really sure where he's at yet.
So Atkins is through the cargo rig. We're waiting for him here at the finisher rig, at the final obstacle of lap 3. And here Atkins approaches it. Atkins knows he's almost done. Brushes his hands off on his shirt. Grabs it. Reaches out. Atkins skipping rings. Going hand to hand, skipping grips. Just getting through. Bell kick. And Atkins is through. Atkins is approaching the finish line, and Atkins is done. Ryan Atkins, your 2021 runner-up, Hildervat, Battle on the Beach. Congratulations, Ryan Atkins. So Veejay Jones, your champion, your $5,000 winner. Ryan Atkins, your runner-up, $2,000 winner.
Those look like 2 tired men.
They are tired. They're friends, but they are competitors also, and they just gave it their all out there. It's hot.
What a great race. It wasn't quite as close as I think we expected, but man, these two guys pushed really hard.
It was good. It was good. I think Ryan Atkins was in control. Even though he was in second place, the first lap and a half, Atkins was in control. That second lap and a half, Atkins was able to keep a 10 to 12 second gap, just enough to make Veejay nervous for that first lap and a half. The second half is when Veejay put on the juice and put some distance between them. Great race between Veejay Jones and Ryan Atkins. Well done, both men. Congratulations. They're hot. Look at him. Look at his face. He is flushed. He is hot. They're dumping water over their head. They're doing some post-race interviews, some post-race photography. Let's see if we can listen in to Ryan Atkins.
Of course, we have a relay coming up. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited for that. It's going to be like no pressure, just fun and then second.
Any recommendations on who should have picked you over Veejay now? You saved some of the tank for this race, maybe used it all?
I don't know. I think on just the obstacle side, we'd be very similar to you. It's going to come down to who you pick for the other.
Well, any final thoughts about this race?
No, I don't know when it's happening again, but let's say come on down and do it if you have
Hey, thanks a lot, Ryan. Great job. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for everybody.
Hey, I heard your
Good job, dude.
She's back here. I didn't say yours were better than hers. I just said they were good. Good job. All right. We'll recap. We'll get ready for the break. We'll come back on. Guys, tell your friends. Don't forget to save that on your watch. Veejay. I'm here with Veejay Jones, 2021 Hildervat Battle on the Beach champion. Yes, sir.
You know, Atkins, like, huge props to him. Up to him for years.
I got no issue. I called the guy.
Yeah. It was rough. It was really rough. I knew that the only way I was going to be able to take it was to build a big lead. I knew that I needed to really take off and go all out. So I tested that yesterday. Sub 5 minute mile pace in the first time. Yesterday, it really burned me. I'm a little more conservative today, so I'm going to stick to this pace and I'm going to run it the whole time. And it worked well. I kept opening up and I think I just kept reminding myself to run as fast as you can get to this lane. long, loping, slow stride that's fast, but it's not the fastest. Especially in sand. So that worked out really well. And
I would. I'd like to go
gap, and then on that last bucket carry, you saw the big that's hard to do. That's incredibly hard to do. I don't know if anybody's ever done it. Somebody told me yesterday.
Congrats!
Jumped off the car right there, you're trying to get the name and I've seen the work, especially. Yeah, the amount of running that this race, I was really surprised as to how much the obstacles made a difference. Because, you know, there's only obstacles to the third of the course. Yeah. For some reason, we were all competing at such a fast that it came down to saving time.
Rebecca, can I say this? You're phenomenal.
Jumping off the top of the A-frame was this format starts as one-on-one. I was 2 races, 2 leading up to the final. How did this format play into being prepared and being fresh? Our recovery was huge, especially on Thursday. The second day, it's nice. You go night of sleep. Twice in a single day, that is rough. So just went back to the hotel, finished did all this stuff, taped, lots of CBD, all that sort of thing. Just recover up really nicely. Come back out. Good performance. Really early in the race. What's the state of my condition? You know, yesterday, the second race, feeling strong enough, like but it turns out that was just the first race. I came out and I was very happy with it. I felt efficient once you start. Like the same pace for 90% of the race. I slowed it down for the last gauntlet to make sure I knew I had a nice big lead. Probably a saving chance. Yes. Like a competitor, if this is a race with no money on the line, hey, it's a nice bonus. Podcast. Video, and I'm like, my race. Bring it over here. Podcast. It's a YouTube video. Veejay Jones, the champion battle on the beach 2021 Hildervat. Yeah!
Good job, buddy.
Congratulations to Veejay.
Just a great race. Just a great race the whole way through. Both men just did so good. Veejay established that early lead, and Atkins was not able to pick it back up. I really think, I feel like that first lap and change, Atkins had Veejay where he wanted him. But Veejay said, I'm not staying there. I'm going where I want to go. And he put the move on, put some space between the two of them, and won the race.
I can't hear you. Can you say that again?
No, I said it's Nick back when I heard Nick on the radio.
We're going to see if our cameraman can go hunt down the draft for the pro relay.
That'll be a fun race to wrap up the weekend with. It'll be 3 teams of 4, so all 12 athletes will run the course one more time, 1 lap. Annie Doobie, the women's elite winner from yesterday, will replace the injured Nicole Miracle. The only difference between the relay course and the standard course is there will be no quarter mile out and back run, quarter mile there, quarter mile back. So it will be all obstacles with a little bit of sand in between. So that'll be fun to watch. The all 12 athletes from yesterday, or all the other 8 that we didn't see this morning, competing against each other in a relay race. The way the race works, it'll start just like a regular race would. The first 3 athletes, one from each team, will do a lap. They will skip the run. So after they do the rope climb, they'll run straight over to the cargo rig. That'll be the next obstacle after that. No run back, no run there, just straight obstacles. The last obstacle of each lap, of the first 2 laps, will be the first 3 laps, because there's 4 athletes. The last obstacle of the first 3 laps will be the vertical cargo climb. After they complete that obstacle, their teammate will be waiting for them at the bottom of the cargo net. They'll pass off the timing chip to their teammate. Their teammate will go run the same course. And then the last athlete on each team, the 4th runner, will complete the finisher rig. So 1 lap each. The final athlete will do the finisher rig. No beach run mid-race like we've been watching.
Let's take a look at our final brackets for the men.
Veejay Jones outlasted everybody. He won the first race of 6. He won the second race with the top 4, and then the final 2 head-to-head against Ryan Atkins. Veejay Jones, your king of the beach.
Pretty wild looking at Kempson and Woods making it to that second round, but not making it to the end. Seeing like Ryan Woods, how well he ran at Savage Race here recently. And I don't think he was as impressed with his performance today or yesterday.
Yeah, you know what? We were looking at the roster even before the races a couple days ago, like the top 6 men, top 6 women, and trying to pick a winner. And obviously, there's some that you think, well, he's going to do better, she'll do better. This will be a harder race for her, harder race for him. But they're all so strong and they're all so fast that it's tough to pick it out. And that's why they have the races, right? Let's see. You think that guy's faster? You think that guy's? Let's see. Let's get him on the course. And Veejay Jones with the win today. Well done, Veejay.
Atkins versus Jones. We always say that Atkins doesn't lose anything over a certain mileage, and Veejay has, even early on in his career, said that he. A bit more into the longer stuff at this point, but Atkins hanging with Veejay and making it to the final round when he is the king of endurance is really amazing.
What's your preferred lens?
That's a great point. If this race was 8 hours long, Atkins would not lose. But if it was even twice as long, I think it'd be a different race. It'd be fun to watch. But that was the race. This is a 3-mile race, and Veejay controlled it from start to finish. Veejay Jones with the win.
I can't wait to hear just Atkins' thoughts on running in the sand. He may have said it at the finish line, and I feel like we lost a little bit of the audio, but what does he attribute to his second place? Is it the sand? I definitely don't think he would say it was the obstacles.
I've never heard Atkins make an excuse after a race. I interviewed him once for World's Toughest Podcast, and he told me something that I remembered even years later. He says, own your performance, and I expect Atkins to do that today. On the women's side, Rebecca Hammond with the win over Lindsay.